Hello, this is Allie, and today we have episode 2 of Real Talk for Lightworkers. So today I'm going to talk about the importance of going into your cave. So, if you are a lightworker, which you are because you're watching this channel, you probably have had for maybe your entire life, or maybe, recently since you've been awakening, or kind of anywhere in between those two times, since being born to right now, have had an intense need to spend time alone, okay? An intense desire to spend time alone. An intense feeling that being around other people is energetically overwhelming for you, psychologically overwhelming for you, emotionally overwhelming for you. You have probably had a sense that your energy gets drained when you're around a bunch of people, and like spending time in crowds, or spending time in malls, or spending time with lots of friends, and just kind of generally feel like being out in the world and being in public all the time, and maybe like going to your office or going to school and then having to hang out with people after work or after school, and all of this stuff is just incredibly overwhelming for your system. And this is kind of normal when it comes to people who are energetically sensitive, right? Because of course you're energetically sensitive. As a light worker, this means when you walk into a room, you pick up on things that are going on with other people, their pain, their suffering, their trauma, all the stuff that's going on with them, and until you have reached these levels of awakening where you have loved all of that pain and everything that you've gone through inside yourself, right? To the point where you are completely judgment-free and you have absolutely a complete capacity for unconditional love of people and their pain and their suffering and what they're going through, and you can see life for what it is, as like a grand play, that everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to be happening. You're going to feel affected by the pain of other people, okay? So let's first talk about why do light workers have to feel so affected and so drained and so caught up in the pain of other people, right? Now, if we really look at this, right, when you are someone who is a light worker, you are absolutely going to be attractive to the darkness that exists in the world, okay? You're going to be attractive to the pain and the shame and the trauma and the drama, because you are carrying more, you have more kind of access to that love and to that light than the average person believes that they have. Okay, so remember that a light worker, like someone who is here as a light worker this round, does not actually have anything that a regular person does not have, all right? All that's happening with a light worker is that the filters that are put on a normal person's consciousness, so the filters of like, this is where I end and where you start, the filters of, just like not feeling so much what everyone else is going through, are blown on light workers, okay? They have access to more unity consciousness than the average person, okay? That's really all that it is. And because they have access to this unity consciousness without being fully transcended yet, okay, which is where most of us are, right? We are able to pick up on and tune into what's going on with other people. We feel their emotions, we feel their trauma, we feel their pain, we feel all this stuff, right? Because we are carrying more light, more awareness, as in we are closer to understanding the truth of who we are and the truth of all of this, right? So there's more light, more information that we carry around, which the darkness is going to be attracted to because it wants to be ushered into the light, all right? So this is why when you have not fully integrated everything that you've been through, when you haven't yet come to a place where, like I say, you are fully and completely at peace with your journey and with the journey of the world and everything that's happening, and have the capacity for unconditional love, which I'm just going to say, that's a super, super rare thing on this planet, but that's what we're all moving towards, okay? That is the job of the light worker, is to learn unconditional love. That's the lesson we're learning here, but that's for another video. So essentially, you're going to attract this darkness. You're going to be sensitive to this darkness because, again, two things, right? You're carrying a little bit more of that light, so you have a little bit more of that light to usher onto other people. So that's part of what you are as a light worker, right? You're bringing light to where other people are drowning in darkness, and at the same time, you are being trained how to love unconditionally, how to stop judging the pain and the trauma and the suffering and everything that we see on this planet and making it wrong and bad, right? And how to start loving it into the light so that we can understand it and move forward. Okay, so this is why you're going to feel like that, okay? There's a reason, right? That's why. You're here to love it. You're here to bring light where there is darkness. You're here to bring awareness where there is unawareness. You're here to bring consciousness where there is unconsciousness, all right? That being said, during your process of awakening, okay, however that is looking for you, like I said, this could be a thing that you've just started, this could be something you've been doing for several years, this could be something you've been literally traversing your entire life, right? If you were born sensitive, if you were born this way, this is going to qualify for you. You're going to have a sense that you want to seclude yourself from the world, okay? And of course you are, because right now the world is incredibly overwhelming. You are taking in so much more information than the average person, right? Again, because your filters are blown. You are just receiving more information, more energy, more movement, more whatever you want to call it, than the average human being who is unaware that all of these other layers of existence exist, right? And so you get overstimulated. You are going to get overstimulated. You are going to get fried. Your nervous system can't handle it. So think of it like this, right? Like you are a vessel for this light, right? And a vessel needs to be built. So this is the huge key that I hope to get across to you, right? Do not expect yourself to be able to hold this super high frequency of unconditional love just because you're a sensitive person, okay? That's not a thing. You are going to go through the process of building your vessel, building your physical vessel, building your emotional vessel, building your spiritual vessel. They're all the same thing, building your mental vessel, right? You're going to go through this process of learning this unconditional love, that you can hold more and more and more love, more and more and more light, more and more and more energy, so that, right, more and more and more of that darkness can come into your field and be loved into the light, okay? That transmutation requires a building of your field. So in order for that field to be built, you are going to have to spend time alone, all right? If you are sensitive and going through your awakening and feeling like you're fried all the time with working your job and then trying to socialize and going to school and you're not going to be building your vessel, okay? Because all of your practices and everything that you're doing are just going to be, well, okay, not to say that you're not going to be building your vessel. It's going to be a lot of just like repair, like, right? Like Groundhog Day. Every single time you do your practices, you're just kind of like getting yourself back to a place where you're not feeling like you're going to like explode, right? But you're not really building it. You're not making yourself stronger. You're not, like I say, you're not really integrating these traumas. You're not really moving forward. You're at best just kind of keeping up with the inundation, right? You're just resetting every time you go to sleep. You process what happened that day, but all of the stuff before that, right? All the pain and trauma and suffering that you've been through and everything that is being reflected to you for you to love is not actually being processed unless you go into your cave, okay? So on my journey, I literally was in a cave experience for a good like 2 years. Like really, the universe just kind of sent me into a cave. We were living in Thailand, and my partner got a job in Montreal in the middle of winter. So Montreal, in case you don't know, it's in Canada, and it's a French-speaking city, and it's very, 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 very cold and snowy and wintry in the winter. And so we moved there in the middle of winter. I don't speak French. It was minus a million every single day. And Marcus, my partner, went to work every day, and I just stayed home and worked my little part-time job on the internet, and spent most of my time alone, meditating and healing and going through all these emotional releases and awakenings. And then when we moved to San Francisco, it was a very similar situation. I spent most of my time alone, and I spent a lot of my time processing and building my vessel. Now, it may have looked from the outside like I was being super antisocial and cutting myself off from the world and all of this stuff, and I was, okay? But it was incredibly integral. The only reason I am where I am today, with the capacity that I have to work with people and to hold the energy that I can, not to say that I'm at a place where I'm unconditional love, I'm definitely still working on that, but without that cave experience, right? Without going into that cave and allowing myself to be alone and allowing myself to really go into my emotions and my thoughts and everything that I needed to deal with to come to a place where I could be a more integrated human being, happened because of being in that cave. It was not happening while I was out there running around like a chicken with my head cut off, all right? So the first thing that I want to say is I know that there's huge fear surrounding allowing yourself to spend a lot of time alone. We are trained in our society that it's like, if you don't have a social life, if you're not like, if your schedule is not packed, if you're not constantly doing something and on the move and that you're a worthless piece of crap, right? That you're not a functioning member of society. You're a freak, you're a weirdo, you're a loner. We're so afraid that we're going to get all these labels put on us if we check out, right? If we check out of society. And what I'm going to say to you is like, you have to be okay with that. If you ever want to get to a place where you feel good and you can actually spend time in social situations and not get completely burnt out and overwhelmed, you're going to have to be okay with being the freak and the weirdo who spends most of your time alone for a little while, okay? That's the thing. Our society uses socialization as a coping mechanism and as a distraction, right? Most of the time. Not to that everyone that's socializing or that everyone who's kind of an outgoing person or considers themselves an extrovert is always running away, but I'm just going to say that generally speaking, we're not going to see each other to connect on a deep soul level or even like really have a good time together, right? A lot of what we do, what we consider socializing, is we get together and we eat, we get together and we drink, we get together and we watch sports, we get together and we do all these things, we shop, and it's distraction. We're doing it to avoid being alone with ourselves. And what I'm saying is you got to be the rebel who allows yourself to be alone with yourself. And yes, your demons are all going to come up, and they're supposed to. You want to. You want that to happen. Because again, everything that you learn to love inside of yourself, everything that you face inside of yourself and integrate, everything that you learn to be able to see how it benefited you and how it was all God and it was all benevolent, all of that stuff you're going to be able to take and do that for someone else. Okay, that's what makes a good light worker. The real, true, best healers and light workers on this planet are the ones who have faced their own deepest pain and loved it so much that there is no fear left. You get in their presence and they are just love. They see and know everything about you and have nothing but love for you. That is what is healing. That is being the ultimate light worker. That is saying there is nothing wrong with you, there never has been anything wrong with you. I see all of you. I see everything that you think is wrong with you. I see all of the things that you think are your flaws. I see all of your thoughts, and I see all of your and I love all of it. That is what being a light worker is, okay? So the more you do that, you start with yourself. You must start with yourself. And you must start with yourself alone, okay? Because when you're being inundated by everyone else's stuff all the time, unless you're really, really strong in this already, right? You're not going to be processing your own stuff. You're not really going to be processing your own stuff. You're just going to be, like I say, kind of like doing the reset button every night while you sleep. But you're not actually going to be going back and doing your own stuff so that you come to this place and can be in society with people who have pain and shame and drama and trauma, and you can bring that love, right? And it doesn't overwhelm you and destroy your nervous system, okay? So your nervous system needs to be built. Your energetic system needs to be built. Your spiritual system needs to be built. Your physical vessel needs to be built. And that happens in your alone time. That happens in the cave. Then you will be able to come out and be that unconditional love for everybody else. And remembering this too, that by checking out, you're not really checking out, okay? The most important thing that you offer on this planet is your vibration. It is where you are at energetically. So if you are in a state where you are feeling burnt out and fried and completely overwhelmed and completely overrun, and you're trying to help everybody all the time, and you're trying to be there for everybody all the time, and you're trying to be social all the time, and all this stuff, but you're fried, you're not really offering anything, okay? And I know, again, that sounds harsh, but on the energetic level, you are creating more chaos by being chaos, right? If you are in an internal state of chaos, it doesn't really matter what you're doing on the surface level. You are putting more chaos out into the world. And we don't need that. We don't need more chaos. We need you to be in a place of peace. We need you to be in a place of unification. We need you to be in a place of love. And that is going to require alone time, all right? So now, the last thing I'm going to leave you with is like literally every awakened being that we know their story, Buddha, Jesus, Moses, pretty like all the saints, all the gurus, anyone that you look at that we can say that was an awakened being, spent time alone. In every single one of their myths, in every single one of their stories, they went off by themselves. Okay? And that is no accident that that is such a common theme. Okay? Because it is that time alone where you are facing yourself, building your vessel before you go out. That is so critical. And it is in that time that you will discover all the tools and all the techniques that you need to be the light worker that you came here to be. Okay? That is where you will discover yourself and your purpose and what you're here to do and how you're going to do it. But like I say, you can't be running around distracting yourself all the time with social engagements and being busy, because that's what's going to hold you back. The thing that's going to let you be who you want to be is slowing down, decluttering your life, decluttering your schedule, only going to things that really feel like they're either super important, they align with your values at this time, they're either super important, or they really feel like it's going to be something that serves your spiritual path. Okay? And if it's anything other than that, don't feel bad about saying no. You're not skipping out on someone, you're not letting us down, you're not going to be a freak who never socializes ever again. Okay? You need to realize that as a light worker, this is who you are all the time. So you don't go to a dinner or to a movie or whatever and turn it off. You can't turn it off, and you know that you can't turn it off. So you need to build a life that's going to facilitate you being without these filters and not having it destroy you. And that is going to require the cave. Okay? Go into the cave. You need to spend time alone. It will not be forever. You may find that on the other side of your cave experience, you do spend a lot more time alone than you thought you would. But again, on that other side, you won't be so nervous about it. You won't be so upset about it. You'll understand the purpose of it. I still spend a lot of time alone. And part of my sadhana is spending time alone. Because in order for me to do the work that I'm doing, okay, I need to be building my vessel constantly. I need to be moving myself towards unconditional love constantly. I can't let myself get overwhelmed. And if I do let myself get overwhelmed, things fall through the cracks. I can't hold it together, right? So I'm conscious of this. I'm stronger and stronger and stronger every year, but, right? I'm conscious of my levels. I'm conscious of my vessel, and I'm conscious of continuing to build it. So don't be afraid to go into the cave. It is literally one of the most important things you will ever do. And so long as you resist it, you're going to stay stuck where you are. And then the last thing is, don't rush yourself through the cave experience. Allow it to be however long it's going to be. That's exactly how long it's supposed to be. All right? You can't do it wrong. So long as you're craving alone time, go have that alone time. You're not a freak. There's nothing wrong with you. your body knows, you know, okay? So if you like this video, like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. Find me on Patreon, find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, everything's linked down below, and I'll see you in the next video.